Have you ever noticed that your mind comes alive when the rest of the world goes quiet? The ideas get sharper. The emotions get deeper. The creativity flows in ways it never does during the day. And somehow, 2 a.m. feels more like home than any hour the sun touches. From the outside it looks like a bad sleep habit. Or poor discipline. Or self-destruction dressed as a personality trait. But psychology says something far more profound is happening in the minds of people who truly come alive at night. Let's decode the real psychology behind people who feel most alive at 2 a.m. 1. The world finally stops demanding something from them. Psychologists say that many night owls don't stay up because they love the dark. They stay up because daytime belongs to everyone else. The notifications. The obligations. The performances. The constant noise of being needed, expected, and evaluated. But at 2 a.m., the world stops knocking. And for the first time all day, the mind exhales. Psychologists call this psychological decompression. The brain's need to process and breathe without external pressure. For people who spend their days giving energy to everyone around them, the night is not an escape. It is the only time they truly exist for themselves. 2. Their brain is wired differently. Research in chronobiology, the science of biological time, shows that night owls are not simply undisciplined morning people. They are neurologically different. Studies show that evening types have a delayed circadian rhythm, meaning their brain chemistry, body temperature, and cortisol levels peak several hours later than average. Their alertness, creativity, and cognitive performance are genuinely higher at night. This is not a lifestyle choice. It is biology. Psychologists note that night owls often score higher in creativity, openness to experience, and abstract thinking. The night doesn't just feel better. For their brain, it actually is better. 3. Nighttime removes the mask they wear all day. Many people who come alive at 2 a.m. are individuals who spend significant emotional energy during the day managing how they are perceived. They are the ones who smile when they are exhausted. Who perform confidence when they are anxious. Who hold everything together in public while quietly unraveling in private. Psychologists describe this as emotional masking, the continuous effort of presenting a version of yourself that the world finds acceptable. But at 2 a.m., the audience is gone. The performance is over. And the real self, the one with fears and dreams and unfinished thoughts, finally gets to breathe. The night doesn't change who they are. It reveals it. 4. Darkness creates emotional permission. There is a fascinating psychological phenomenon where the absence of light actually lowers social inhibition and increases emotional honesty. Psychologists link this to reduced self-monitoring, the tendency to edit our thoughts and feelings based on who might be watching. At night, the invisible social surveillance of daylight disappears. People feel safer to think thoughts they would censor in the morning. To feel things they would suppress at noon. To confront truths they avoid in the brightness of a busy day. This is why the deepest conversations happen at midnight. Why the most honest tears fall at 2 a.m. The dark doesn't bring out the worst in people. It brings out the most real. 5. It is sometimes loneliness wearing the costume of creativity. This is the truth that cuts deepest. For many people who feel most alive at night, the aliveness they feel is not purely creative or neurological. It is the quiet ache of a person who feels most themselves when there is no one left to perform for. Psychologists link late-night wakefulness to unprocessed emotions, chronic loneliness, and a deep need for solitude that was never honored during the day. The 2 a.m. mind is often not just inspired. It is also searching. Replaying conversations. Reimagining futures. Sitting with feelings that had nowhere to go all day. The night becomes a container for everything the day didn't have space for. So if you come alive at 2 a.m., know this. You are not broken. You are not undisciplined. You are not self-destructing. You may simply be someone whose inner world is too vast for the noise of the day to contain. Someone whose most honest self only surfaces when the world finally gets quiet enough to hear it. The night is not your enemy. For some people it is the only hour that belongs entirely to them. The only time the mind stops performing and starts living. But here is the question worth sitting with. What would it mean to give yourself even a fraction of that freedom during the day? To exist for yourself not just when the world is asleep, but even when it is watching. Because the version of you that comes alive at 2 a.m. deserves to live in the light too. If this felt like someone finally understood something you never knew how to explain, hit subscribe. Because on this channel we don't just talk about behavior. We reach into the quiet hours of the human mind and we find the truth that daylight misses. And sometimes, being understood in the dark is the beginning of finally being free.